Hey everyone. I happened to find this DVD the other day, so I didn't realize all this was on it. So I opened it up and looked at it and went, oh wow, that brings back some memories. This goes back to November of 2007. Um, Built a tower. Yeah, I used to do tower work on TV towers, AM broadcast towers, FM broadcast towers. Used to paint them, put stuff on them, take stuff off from them, do all kinds of stuff to them, build them, tear them down, you name it, change light bulbs. So this is a Roan 45 tower that Jim and I built in 2007. And you will notice right next to it another tower. That was a Roan 25 at 100 feet. And it was in pretty hard shape, very hard shape, which is why we built a new one. So the old one was so rusty and in so bad a shape. The guy wires, you're going to see a picture of the anchor, one of the anchors, coming up and out over a rock. You look at the guy wires, it was heavy, rust pitting in the guy wires. The tower wasn't worth trying to salvage. It just needed to be replaced. So here's some photos and 2 or 3, 4 something short video clips of the process. The fellow you see me pictured with is Jim. He died a few years ago. He fell from a tower. He did tower work for many years, and him and I went all over this friggin' state. Aroostook County was always a fun trip. We've been to Western Maine. We've been everywhere. But yeah, bad things happen, so he's gone now. We had fun building this tower anyway, doing some other projects. So I used to have a lot of other photos, but over the years I've lost them, or they were digital and got deleted or something. But I'll bring these ones up and you can check these out. On this second photo in, if you look on the tower, we're looking through the old tower to the new tower in this aspect. And you'll see me on the tower standing there leaning back with my hands out like this. Hey, look, Mom, no hands. Yeah, my mom and dad showed up on this tower site during the build. You'll see them at the end down on the ground. So the guy who took the video clips and the photos here was a guy I've known about all my life, and he was working for this company that we were building the tower for. So he came up the day we started building it and took some photos.
figuring it's out quite a bit out that way, huh?
Yeah, starting about 70 feet she is.
In this clip, I'm ascending, going back up. I can't remember why I was down that low at that point. It was so long ago. It was like 18 years ago. So I'm going around a level of guy wires. So I have to get around that. Once I get around the guy wires, I just put my belt around the tower and away I go until I can go around the set of guy wires, and I click clack around those and then put my belt around and then go again. So that was Jim you hear on the ground hollering up to me about it being out. And what he meant by that was at the guy wire, then we'd straighten the tower, it'd be plumb. Next set of guy wires, we straighten the tower, it'd be plumb. So up about 70 feet, it was starting to lean off one direction. And the way we did things, and it ain't gonna go nowhere, is I put on a set of guy wires and he'd be on the ground. And we get everything secured, start getting a little bit of strain on them, just what you could pull by hand, get it all rigged up into the come-alongs. And then he would work on tightening things up and actually plumbing the tower. So the bottom could be like this, and then you can get up and it could be off a little bit like so. He'd actually work on straightening everything out in all directions while I was up there working on it, bolting on another section or doing whatever I was doing. So I'd just be up there moving around, doing whatever. Yeah, it's tower climber's life. In this photo here, you'll notice that I'm up at this level and I've got a section top a little bit above my head, and then I got guy wires below me. If you look at those guy wires, you're going to see they're sagging, right? So they're not taut. There's going to be some sway in the tower. Yep, whatever. Ain't a big deal. So as I just mentioned about him going, what way is it out or whatever, and I'm going, 70 feet, whatever the discussion was. So I could be up there above those guys, as you see in this picture, working on bolting them sections in, doing whatever I'm doing. Those other three guys are secured to the anchor points on the ground. That tower ain't going anywhere other than just wiggling back and forth, maybe that much, something like that. Then he could be on the ground going around and taking tension here, taking tension here, taking tension here, and then looking at it with a transit and lining me up plumb. So we're both doing something. This photo, looking down onto the top of the other tower, the top of that other tower is 100 feet. So yeah, I'm well above that by about 30 feet, I think, at that point, 20 feet something, looking down. Pretty cool, huh? Sorry I can't go back 18 years ago and make you a nice video. I can't do that. I don't have a time machine. So if you watch the captions, you've seen that I've noted this antenna, right? And looking down from the top, that antenna that's side mounted, we had to put that on the new tower. So what we did was Jim climbed the new tower and I climbed the old tower. And I just unrigged stuff and passed everything over. And you can literally, well, when two towers are there, as you see in the photos, they were close together. You could stand right in the middle between the two of them and grab each one of them. So it was real easy. You know, we didn't have to do anything funky. So I'd like take the stabilizer brace off and just go, yep, here you go. And then went down and took the bracket off the tower that holds the antenna and just handed it over to him. He got his hands on it, pulled it over, and put it on his tower. It was just that simple, and the transmission line moved right over with it. But that old tower was so sketchy. On our way up, we took ropes with us and tied those things together just in case something went wrong with the old tower, with the guy wires or whatever. It would have been a hell of a ride, and I wouldn't have wanted to take that ride. And he would have got a hell of a ride on the new tower too. But it would have kept the new tower from at least being, or sorry, the old tower from at least being able to go crash. It would have just gone and somehow tangled up into the new tower. Fortunately, it held together, but we were pretty leery of it. This photo, I wish I still had all my old photos. I do, but I don't know what happened to them all. This one was taken by Jim, and this is a TV site. So this is known as a batwing antenna. I don't remember what I was doing on there, but I wound up painting this tower afterwards. So I must have been doing something to prep for the painting. I can't remember, but wound up painting it after this and made it nice and pretty again. This is actually your antenna on the top of the tower. I went down south one winter and did tower work. What a bunch of sissies. Wow. I don't know what it's like now, but they wouldn't get on a tower if it was under 50 degrees. Yeah, 50 degrees. Wimps, absolute wimps. I'm thinking, that's like perfect climbing weather for me. You know, Maine boy. I was used to being up on the top of mountains with the wind screaming in the wintertime, sometimes having to get up there by snowmobile, and then climb up on a tower with the wind howling, sometimes in the snow, sometimes in the freezing rain, working on a tower for hours at a time. Yeah, that was my life. So then you go down there and, oh, it's 49, it's 50 degrees, we can't get on a tower, it's too cold. Oh, cry me a river. Yeah, I'd climb, no problem at all. I'm not doing tower work anymore. I had a lot of fun when I used to do it though. It was not easy. Nope, no way, no how. But you got to see a lot of cool things here, there, and everywhere. And it's amazing how many places you can go in the state, and once you get up a little ways, you can see Mount Katahdin. That's a real cool thing. And it's not so cool when you get attacked by an osprey. That sucked. Been there, done that. I'm still here. And when you have to go up on top of a mountain and then climb about 550 feet up a tower to work on a FM broadcast antenna because the radio station is shut down in the middle of the winter time and the wind is screaming. Yeah, I have never been so cold in my life, I don't think. That day sucked. Two of us climbed it. And Clarence would work for a few minutes and then put his hands in his coveralls, and I'd work for a few minutes until my fingers got cold, and then, you know, gloves on, fingers in coveralls, and we'd keep switching back and forth till we figured out what the issue was. And the issue on that one was pure stupidity on the engineer's part. Yeah. Anyway, you should not have ice inside of your transmission line on an FM broadcast station. And if it was set up right, that never would have happened. But there you go. Painting towers, that was always fun. Jimmy, guy here with me in these clips, him and me and Scotty, we went and painted a tower one morning. We were up on the hill, I think at 2:30 that morning, because it was a TV tower and they didn't want to be off the air come daylight because it was a Sunday morning and people had to have their God, so we couldn't shut the transmitter down and do it during the daylight. Oh, no. So we were up there about 2:30, and it was August, and it was cold. It was cold. Set up floodlights all around the base of the tower to light that thing up. And TV and FM broadcast, AM broadcast, if you're on them towers, you need to shut the power down. If you're going to be on the antenna especially, and we were doing the antenna also. So we get up there and we did it in 3 stages. I had the white paint, Scotty had orange paint, and Jimmy had orange paint. So I was the only white painter, because it's orange and white, 7 equal stripes from the top to the bottom. Well, we get up to the top of the tower, and then you got, I think the antenna was another 60 feet on the top of the tower. So Scotty went above me. He went all the way to the top of the antenna, and I went about halfway up the antenna because the top is orange. So I had to go to the white band below him. So we figured by the time I got done painting my white and he got done painting his orange, by the time he got down to my white, it would be dry, and then he could go over my white to get down to his next orange, and I'd be down on my next white. And we'd leapfrog down until we get on the tower. And Jimmy stayed at the tower top level, started with orange there, and started working down, figuring by the time we get off the antenna, you know, the tower would be dry. So, yeah, that was a interesting morning. And you don't get fussy. It's not detailed painting. You get a paint mitt and a can, and you're just rubbing and slopping and just covering stuff in paint. That's what you do. Yeah, good time. At some point, Jimmy goes, "My effing leg is friggin' cold." And of course, it's pitch black dark. Can't see what you're doing, right? Well, he had a paint can hanging on his belt with a carabiner, and he got tipped over horizontal, and he poured orange paint right down his whole friggin' leg, and it soaked through. Didn't realize he did it till it soaked through. Yeah, tower stories, man. They're interesting. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. Catch you later.